reading the bill for a constitutional convention to amend the 1987 Constitution. This comes a day after the accompanying resolution completely hurdled the lower chamber. Albay Representative Edsel Lagman, however, questioned why the House was so quick to discuss the details of CONCON when senators had yet to tackle the resolution in the upper chamber. Lagman says House lawmakers' efforts may be in vain, especially as Senator Robin Padilla has been pushing for a constituent assembly instead of CONCON.
Premature for us to assume that this resolution of both houses number 6 will be approved by the Senate and will be implementable. We might be exercising impunity here. I move to suspend consideration of House Bill number 7352 for being premature and an exercise in futility.
I object to the motion of the Honorable Distinguished Gentleman from Albay.
Gabriela Party List Representative Arlene Brosas also flagged the provision which says the Senate President and House Speaker would appoint 63 of over 300 CONCON delegates. However, Cagayan de Oro Representative Rufus Rodriguez defended the provision.
Because this is not an appointment to executive positions. This is an appointment to a constituent convention. That never is it an executive function. Because this is not an executive function, then therefore the President has no authority under the Constitution to appoint. These are not executive officers.
PUVs are back on the road today as transport groups Manibela and Piston announced the end of their strike. This announcement came following a meeting yesterday afternoon between the leaders of the transport groups and the Office of the Executive Secretary in Malacanang. The palace says that during the meeting, the groups were able to air their grievances over the implementation of the PUV modernization program. Malacanang adds that the President has ordered the Transportation Department and the LTFRB to use the new December 31 deadline for consolidation to review provisions of the Omnibus Franchising Guidelines. The President says this review must take into account all aspects of the program's implementation as well as the needs of drivers and operators. On Facebook, Manibela declared that there will no longer be a phase-out of PUVs. The group adds that more details on their initial dialogue with the palace will be announced later today at 10 a.m.
Nais naming humingi ng paumanhin sa ating mga mananakay sa naisagawang transport strike ng aming grupo upang mabigyan ng boses ang aming mga hinahing. Nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong pangunawa. Sa aming mga kasamahan, huwag po kayong mabahala. Sa ating pagunlad at pagbabago, sisiguraduhin nating mananatili ang tinaguriang hari ng kalsada.
President Bongbong Marcos believes the acquisition of modern aircrafts would help boost the country's defense system. The President made the statement during the turnover ceremony of the C-295 medium aircraft to the Philippine Air Force in Pampanga. According to the President, the new C-295 aircraft should help with the Air Force's response operations.
Through the additional C-295 aircraft, the AFP will be able to provide more responsive support to government agencies, especially in emergency situations, and on humanitarian assistance and disaster response operations. While this equipment...
President Marcos also rode on one of the fighter jets of the Philippine Air Force, which would be used to monitor the country's exclusive economic zone. This amid tensions with China following the laser-pointing incident at Ayungin Shoal. Despite the new equipment, the President highlights the importance of further improving the Air Force's capabilities.
While this equipment will boost the readiness of our Air Force to respond to any contingency, there is still a need to further improve our capabilities to effectively cover our territory. Equally important is to ensure the airworthiness of Air Force assets and the corresponding training of crew and personnel to guarantee the safety of all.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Mastermind in 3 separate killings. One of the victims was former provincial board member Miguel Lopez Dungog, who was killed in front of a hospital in Dumaguete.
They were summoned by, allegedly they were summoned by Congressman Tebes, gave them the instructions to assassinate these victims, at marami pa silang detalye na sinabi. Yung sinasabi ng mga ito ay dahil kalaban sa politika. Especially si dating board member Miguel Dungog.
The filing came days after the assassination of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo, one of Tebes's political rivals. The complainants say they have long been building up the case against Tebes, and the filing merely coincided with the death of Degamo. Congressman Tebes has since denied any involvement in the killing of the governor, saying his clan would not benefit from Degamo's death. 4 suspects in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo have been transferred from the province to the NBI in Camp Crame on Tuesday. 2 of them are under the protective custody of the NBI, while the other 2 were brought to Camp Crame. All 4 suspects, who were former members of the Philippine Army, have vowed to cooperate in the investigation so they can be placed under the Witness Protection Program. The PNP says the suspects have provided them information to capture the other gunmen involved. Senators, meanwhile, visited Degamo's wake where they handed out the resolution to the late governor's wife, recognizing Degamo and condemning the spate of killings of local officials. The Senate will conduct a separate investigation into the official's death.
Dapat yan mabuwag, mahuli, ma-neutralize, kunin yung mga baril nila, and we'll send a strong statement that this administration will not tolerate gun-for-hire syndicates, illegal firearms, or private armies.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.